English Learning Podcast.
From Easy English with Class.
Okay, picture this scenario. It's a classic because, honestly, it is so painfully relatable.
Oh, yeah.
You're traveling, maybe you're in a coffee shop in London, or you're in a big Zoom meeting. You feel ready. You've studied the apps, you've memorized the grammar tables, you've done all the homework.
You've got the textbook knowledge.
Exactly. But then someone looks at you, asks a simple question, and then nothing.
The dreaded brain freeze, just static.
The absolute worst. And it's not because you don't know the answer. That's the frustrating part. You know the words. But the process, it's like your brain is suddenly running on dial-up internet from, 1995.
You hear the question, think of the answer in your native language, then you start trying to translate it word for word.
And then you stop to check the grammar. Is it in the afternoon or at the afternoon? And then, for good measure, you start worrying about your accent.
And by the time you're ready to speak, the moment's just passed.
It's completely gone. Everyone's moved on. The barista's staring at you, and you're just sitting there with this perfect sentence that nobody needs anymore.
It is exhausting. And honestly, it's why so many people just quit. They think they're hitting a wall, but they're just stuck. They think it's a knowledge problem, but it's actually a processing problem.
That is such a key distinction. So today we're doing a deep dive into a guide that claims to solve exactly this. It's called simply How to Think in English. And it's fascinating because it argues your problem isn't vocabulary, it's habit.
That's translation habit.
So specifically, yeah.
The translation habit.
It's a really good look at the mechanics of fluency. The core idea is that fluency isn't about knowing every single word. It's about speed. It's about closing that gap between a thought and, actually speaking it.
Bypassing that translation step entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
Which sounds great, right? Just think in English. But that feels a bit like telling someone having a panic attack to just relax.
Right. It's not that easy.
You can't just flip a switch.
Or
can you? Well, that's the hook. What I love about this source is that it doesn't just give you vague advice. It gives you a literal system. They call it the 1-minute English switch.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're going to unpack exactly how that works and some of these brain hacks that can trick your mind into staying in English mode even when you panic.
Especially when you panic. That's when it matters. So let's get into it. The source starts with a diagnosis. Before we can fix the freeze, we have to understand what's actually happening in the brain. Why do we lock up?
The text calls it the translation loop. That's the cycle you described. But before we can even fix it, the source makes a crucial point. We have to redefine what thinking in English actually means.
Right, because that sounds really intimidating. Like I need to have some complex, philosophical, internal monologue in a second language.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And that's the trap. Thinking in English doesn't mean you abandon your native language forever. It just means creating simple English sentences directly. It breaks it down into 3 levels to make it less scary.
Okay, walk us through the levels, because I think people assume they have to jump straight to Shakespeare.
Far from it. Level 1 is just the word level. You see a cup, your brain just says cup. Not the word in your language, then translated, just cup.
Okay, that seems doable. Association.
Level 2 is the phrase level, a cup of tea. And level 3 is the sentence level, I want a cup of tea. The whole goal is to build a bridge to get you straight to level 3.
But there are barriers. The source points out 4 specific brain traps. The first is that translation loop. But the second one, the perfect sentence trap, that one really hit home for me.
That's the killer. It's the perfectionist in all of us. You wait until you've structured the sentence perfectly, the right tense, the right preposition, before you even let yourself speak.
It's fear. Fear of sounding stupid.
Precisely. We're taught in school that mistakes are bad. Red ink on the page. But speaking isn't writing. Speaking is messy and fast. If you wait for perfection, you just end up with silence.
I'd rather have a messy conversation than a perfect silence.
Exactly.
Yep.
Then you've got trap 3. Vocabulary panic. That moment you forget one single word like, stapler, and your brain just shuts down the whole sentence.
It's a total system crash over one missing file.
It is. And the 4th trap is the silent practice trap. You watch movies, you listen to podcasts, you understand everything, but you never actually move your mouth. Your brain knows it, but your muscles don't.
Like watching workout videos, but never actually lifting a weight.
That's a great analogy. The key insight here is that your brain loves comfort. Your native language is the easy path, so we have to make English the new comfort zone.
So how do we do that? This is where the guide introduces a mechanism called SOS.
SOS, it stands for See, Organize, Say.
Okay, I like an acronym. Let's break it down. C is obvious, but it has a specific technique attached, the picture method.
Right, this goes back to that level 1 thinking. The exercise is to look at real objects around you and label them in a specific sequence. Label, detail, action.
Give me a live example. Oh, look at that microphone right there.
Okay, so label, microphone, then detail, an adjective, black, then action, a verb. I'm speaking into it.
So you're building it like Legos. Microphone, black, I'm speaking into it.
And then you combine it. I see a black microphone and I'm speaking into it. The ideal is to go from the image directly to the English words, skipping the translation entirely.
It feels almost childishly simple. Does it really work?
It feels simple because we're stripping away the complexity. But the goal isn't poetry, it's speed. You're retraining a reflex.
Okay, see? The next part is organize. This is where I think people get stuck trying to organize complex grammar in their heads.
And that's the death of flow. The source argues you don't need complex grammar for like 90% of your daily thoughts.
Okay.
It gives you 5 golden tools or patterns to fall back on when you freeze.
Let's hear them.
The I am, I need, I want, I'm going to, and I like.
That's it. I like, I want, I need.
That's it. If you're panicking, don't try to build some complex conditional sentence. Just drop back to, I want to go. It keeps the conversation alive.
It's a safety net. If you start to wobble on the tightrope, you just drop to the net.
Exactly. You don't crash into silence.
So see the object, organize with a simple pattern, and then say it. SOS.
And the say part is critical. You have to mutter it, whisper it, whatever. If it stays in your head, it's just a thought. You have to get it out.
Okay, now speaking of survival, the source moves on to a concept that I think is just brilliant. It solves that awkward silence problem. It calls them English buttons.
Yes. This is fascinating because it's what native speakers do all the time, but we almost never teach it.
So what is a button? It's basically a way to buy time, yeah.
It is. Think about when you pause in your native language. You don't go silent. You say, let me see, or hang on a second. You make a sound to hold your spot.
Right, you're signaling, I'm still here, just thinking.
Exactly. But in the second language, a pause often becomes total silence while we're translating. And that silence creates panic.
So buttons are just pre-memorized phrases you can push to fill that space.
Correct. And the source has a few categories. You've got time buttons for when you need a second to think. Things like, let me think 1 second, or my favorite, what's the word?
What's the word? It's such a great move. You're admitting you don't know, but you're doing it in English.
You're staying in the language. That's the key. If you stop and think in your native language, you've broken the spell. If you say, what's the word? You're still in English mode. You're inviting them to help.
There are also meaning buttons like it depends, maybe, and repair buttons. These seem perfect for that vocabulary panic.
Absolutely. If you don't know a word, don't freeze. Use a repair button. It's like, or I don't know the exact word, but or let me say it a simple way.
It's like is so useful. If I forget the word for supermarket, I can just say, it's like a big store for food.
And you've communicated. That is fluency. It's not about knowing every word instantly. It's about being able to describe the concept when the word is gone. We native speakers do this constantly.
It's strategic. It's not about being perfect. It's about being strategic with your imperfections.
Exactly right.
So we have buttons to buy time. The source also talks about chunks. How's that different?
A button is a reaction to a problem. A chunk is more of a building block for speed. The idea is to steal ready-made phrases and treat them like single vocabulary words.
So instead of building, I am on my way, piece by piece.
You just memorize, I'm on my way,
Yeah.
as one single block of sound.
Like how I say, oh, I'm not thinking about the individual words. It's just one unit.
It's audio compression for your brain. I'm running late. That makes sense. I'm done for today. If you treat these as chunks, you aren't using your grammar brain to build them. You're just using your memory.
Which saves processing power for the harder parts of the sentence.
Precisely. Translation is manual labor. Chunks are automated.
Okay, let's see how this plays out in the real world, because that's when the pressure is on. The source gives a few scenarios. The first is the cafe.
The classic high-pressure situation. There's a line, it's loud. The trap is trying to be too polite or complex. I was wondering if I could possibly have.
And then you stumble over, possibly. You trip on your own politeness.
Right. The source is just drop it. Use the patterns. Can I get a coffee? No. That's all. Small, please.
Just boom, boom, boom. It feels, I don't know, almost rude to be that short.
It feels abrupt to the learner, maybe, but to the busy barista.
Yeah.
It just sounds clear. Clarity is polite. Wasting time trying to find the perfect verb is actually more disruptive.
Clarity is polite. I like that. Okay, another scenario. The forgotten word. We touched on this, but the source gives a great example about cake. You want to say you bought a cake, but the word is just gone.
To use the repair button. Let me think. It's like a sweetbread.
It's like a sweetbread. I love that. You didn't stop. You didn't pull out your phone. You just solved the problem with the English you already had.
And that builds so much confidence. The moment you realize you can explain your way around a missing word is the moment you stop fearing conversation.
The source also gives some quick fixes for common mistakes. And the number one fix is, don't wait for perfect grammar. Start simple, then add details.
And another big one, don't translate full sentences. Translate ideas.
Okay, that's a subtle shift. Explain that.
If you try to translate a complex sentence from your native language, the grammar and idioms just won't line up. You'll get stuck. But if you take the core idea like, I'm busy, you can express that simply. Strip the thought down to its basic meaning, then dress it in simple English.
And we have to circle back to the silent practice trap. The source is very clear on this. You must practice out loud.
At least 2 minutes a day. Your mouth needs the physical training.
Yeah.
You can't learn piano just by looking at the music. You can't learn to speak just by listening. You have to move the parts.
Okay, so we have the theory, SOS, buttons, chunks. But how do we make this a habit? The source provides a 30-day blueprint, a daily 5-minute plan.
I love this because I don't have time is the number one excuse. Everyone has 5 minutes.
So let's walk through it. Minute 1. Self-talk.
You use those 5 patterns. I need to say 6 sentences about right now. I am at home. I need water.
Yeah.
I like this quiet. You're just grounding yourself in English.
It feels a little weird talking to yourself, but I guess it's private.
It is. It's about switching the operating system in your brain for the day.
Minute 2. The picture method.
Look at 3 objects. Label, detail, action. I see a pen. It's blue. I'm holding it. 3 times. Connect your eyes to your mouth.
Minute 3 is practicing buttons. This feels like rehearsal.
It is. You say them out loud. Let me think. It depends. You're getting them ready so they're there when you panic. You won't remember them under pressure if you haven't practiced.
Minute 4, one scene.
Imagine a scenario. You're on the bus. Speak for 20 seconds. I'm going to work. I'm late. I hope the bus is fast. It's a mini simulation.
And minute 5, the voice message.
Record a 20 or 30-second voice note to yourself about your day. Listening to your own voice is painful at first, but it's the best feedback loop you can get. You hear your rhythm, your pauses, where you need a button.
That feedback loop is so important. You can't fix what you can't hear. There's also a little English switch game mentioned.
Yeah, it's a reflex drill. You feel thirsty. You force an immediate sentence. I need water. No thinking, just reflex. You're training your brain to bypass a translation.
So if we pull all this together, what's the big takeaway for someone listening?
I think it's that you don't need perfect English. You need clear English. The bridge to fluency is built with these small, sturdy pieces, SOS, chunks, buttons. You just need a system to manage the panic.
And you have to be willing to sound a little simple at first. That's the ego hit, isn't it?
That is the price of fluency. You have to be willing to sound simple to eventually sound complex. If you skip the simple stage, you just stay silent forever.
I think the most empowering idea here is that you probably already have enough vocabulary. You just can't access it fast enough because of that translation habit.
That's right. You don't need more words. You need faster access to the words you have.
So here is a final thought for you to take with you. We often think the enemy of fluency is a lack of knowledge. But based on this deep dive, it seems the real enemy is the desire for perfection.
Absolutely. Perfection is the enemy of connection.
If you can embrace being imperfect but fast, if you can use a button instead of silence and a simple pattern instead of a complex mess, you're not just learning anymore. You are already thinking in English.
And that's a powerful place to be.